Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is Kelsy Elle, and I am so excited to announce my beautiful special guest, Dr. Jen Draper. Jen, how are you?
I'm awesome. Thank you, Kelsey. Thank you so much for inviting me to talk to you today.
Thank you so much for being here. It's such an honor, and I want to dive in. There's so much that I want to talk to you about, so I want to really dive in and maximize the time that we do have together, because I know your time is precious. So tell me a little bit first about just what you do overall.
Well, goodness, yes. Time is definitely precious, and it's a commodity that, it's very easy to think we don't have very much time, but we need to make the time for this because this is really important. This is a really important discussion to have. I'm very proud of what I do. I'm an integrative general practitioner. I'm in a rural, small country town in New South Wales, which is in Australia, as you can probably tell by my accent. And I have, for a long time, been very satisfied in my work in terms of that I'm able to achieve amazing health outcomes with people, basically by just taking the time with them to explain what's going on inside their bodies and try and get them to have as much of a passion for the workings of the body that I do. And I think that, my attention to detail and my belief that everyone has actually got, that natural kind of curiosity to be able to think outside the box and just get in touch with their body and listen to their body, coupled with the fact that I've never been one to just dole out pills, has meant that over the years, and also through my own experiences as well, I've tended to be a little bit experimental in terms of looking into alternative therapies. So one of my favorite sayings has always been, Western medicine does not have all the answers. So as a consequence, around about 6 or 7 years ago, I started really actually taking that to the next level by doing some postgraduate study through some of the colleges that we have here in Australia and looking into nutritional and environmental medicine. And I didn't go quite so far as to, retrain as a naturopath or become an acupuncturist or things like this, but I recognized that these other healers who do have these skills basically have got a lot to offer people. And there was a significant moment in my life when I was interviewed by a researcher who came around to see what is your perception of complementary and alternative medicine. And that was about 10 years ago. So it was before I'd started this pathway myself. And I remember quite clearly that interview back then. I was thinking, maybe acupuncture, maybe naturopathy, chiropractic, but I wasn't thinking about the realms of vitamins that people purchase and all sorts of other things like energy healing. And basically back then it was kind of like it opened my eyes to think, what else could I learn about and how else could I help people to kind of find out what was going on inside? Because the medical paradigm, it gives you the basic foundations, anatomy, physiology, although we're always learning new things, there's always new research coming out. It's like, how do you stay on top of it? And I think that can become very confusing and very disheartening for people when they are a one-on-one individual practitioner. And what I've learned over the years is that people at least me in my position, I have responded so much better to operating within a team environment. And so this concept of needing the team environment and being able to have a heap of patients, but only as many as I can see, because I can see one patient at a time, has kind of led me to look outside the box and look at different models of being able to group those things together. So group together teams of people who are interested in learning and working with each other, and collect people who are interested in learning. And I mean, there's now a term for it. It's called biohacking. And so I think about myself as a biohacker, and certainly all over Facebook, there's biohackers groups. And it's just this phenomenon that there is so much information out there on the internet that you can look around and you can look for tips and tricks. And if you understand the science and you do some research, you can really find out some incredible things. So I encourage people to be Dr. Google, as long as they're willing to share Dr. Google with their doctor, because they both may well learn something. And I think two heads are better than one. And integrating, healers who have got years and years of experience and able to achieve real outcomes. That's really what has led me to come up with a new concept, which was well-being holistic. And I had that concept, and then I came across you on the internet. So
I still remember the first day that we had a conversation, and I was like, oh my goodness, the mind that you have so much going on. You have so many incredible things going on, and the vision that you have for well-being holistic, it's so empowering. And I was just instantly drawn to you. I was like, I have to work with you, because it's like, everyone needs to know Dr. Jen. Like, you're amazing, amazing. So what would you say to someone who says, ooh, okay, that sounds really amazing, but how do I even start to think about an alternate model? If they're really in this one-on-one setting, what would you say to them?
Well, that's a really, really good question, because I had all of these visions, and I am still stuck in this one-on-one model. And because I have a business in the one-on-one model, admittedly, yeah, I have got 10 people working with me, but I have a commitment that I have to make in terms of seeing a certain number of patients a day, keeping the revenue coming in to pay all the overheads, et cetera, and to try and think outside the box and think that, could I do something differently? It took a lot of my mind space. And to be honest, the reason why it happened for me was because I really was burnt out. I was burnt out probably because there is so much going on in my mind, and juggling it all around, as well as taking time for family and time for breaks and things like that. Well, to be honest, that's where it missed out. I hadn't had breaks, and by not having breaks, I think that contributed to the burnout.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone could kind of recognize that, yeah, there is a way that we could do things differently, then I've got to say you need help. Okay. And I had conceived of the model, and I had it all in my head, and I was doing it, and I was outsourcing and getting some help with business plans being written, and like a presentation to present to other potential health practitioners that I might want to work with. And I was at this stage when I met you, and basically what you've done with me is you've helped me to recognize that it's been my own personal mindset shift that has actually allowed me to take actual steps that are moving me towards being able to make this a reality. And a lot of it has got to do with the principles that I want to bring forward in my masterclass as I help other physicians to take that leap and actually make the mindset shifts and recognize that self-care and balance is so important. And really what I have had to do is I've had to say, well, honestly, even though my business cannot run without me at the moment, it absolutely cannot run without me at the moment. And if I don't start reducing down my commitment in terms of that, then I won't be able to follow my passions and realize my dreams and step outside the box and really be inspirational and be able to draw people together into having this kind of model. Because not everybody wants to move to Wingham, which is where I am. It's a very small country town. In fact, we couldn't fit all of the people that we want within. So the concept is to actually create a working together business model that people can duplicate wherever they are. And thereby, through having a passion and having that desire to work to the market, because the consumers want natural medicine, the consumers want to go on Google and learn about how to biohack their bodies. And as a doctor, you're not trained in that, but you are trained in the basic anatomy and physiology, and you are very good at talking to people. And as, a chiropractor or a naturopath, you've got your area of expertise. And wouldn't it be wonderful if you had a doctor who respected the fact that you are an expert in your field, and then you had an acupuncturist, and then you had an energy healer, and you had these like-minded health professionals who all recognized each other's strengths and recognized that they can do so much on their own, but when they can work together as a team, especially if all of them are undertaking a coaching and self-development process, then amazing things can happen. So that's kind of what I would say to people who are interested. I would say, watch my webinar. I have a delightful new exciting masterclass where you get to spend 40 minutes listening to me talking about exactly what I have done and the shifts that I've gone through and how I can support you to go through those shifts, because it really is walking the walk and talking the talk.
It is. It is. Yes, it is. So, I'm going to post your webinar link so anyone can find it. And it's an absolute must watch. It's really powerful and will be so valuable. Even for those of you who don't have a lot of time, dedicate 45 minutes to this. And, Dr. Jen, I would love to have you back because there are so many more questions that I want to dive into. I know how powerful your message and your teachings are. So if we could have you back, I would absolutely love that. And I know you have limited time today, but this has been wonderful. And I know that everyone hearing this is, you're sparking a lot of, new thoughts going on in their minds.
Well, that's great. I'm really, really excited if I can do that, because I'm super excited about it. I'm following my dreams, I'm realizing my passions, and I'm talking to people who do share those dreams. But it's just a question of how can you make it work while you're still keeping the money rolling in to keep those staff being paid and pay the bills, etc., and that grind of the everyday life.
Yeah.
If you have dreams and you can follow them, then it keeps you going and it keeps you balanced and inspired. So yes,
And
I'm happy to come back.
Vision to be able to actually go on holiday, but still, serving people in the biggest way. And it is finding that balance as a physician is really, really difficult. So
yeah, it is.
There's a lot more to dive into here, but yes, and anyone who is interested, please watch Dr. Jen's webinar. It's really fantastic, this masterclass that you created. So thank you so much for sharing your time with me today and with everyone. And I'm so blessed to know you.
Thank you.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.